future will require an Israeli security presence. That doesn't mean political control.
Well, with me now is Mohamed Taha from BBC Arabic. Mohamed, welcome to you. Good to see you. What's the international reaction been to these comments by the Israeli Prime Minister?
The international community is feeling that there is a growing pressure on Israel to take a different stand than its stand from the beginning of this war. I would like to name some of these pressures on Israel. As you said, the UN said that Israel is beating prisoners, torturing prisoners. Another UN agency said that Israel does not allow aid to go to northern Gaza. There is also growing criticism from Médecins Sans Frontières that there are few hospitals are functioning in Gaza at the moment. There are also growing criticism that led to some criminal complaints against the Israeli president in Switzerland, where he is attending Davos Forum. There are many criticism about that amount of civilians that are falling every day. More than 150 died only during the last 24 hours. All of this criticism regarding the aid, the situation of the children, the number of deaths of civilians are making Benjamin Netanyahu and Biden talking about the two-state solution. But practically, if you look at it, the Benjamin Netanyahu's government, the right-wing government, is based on refusing giving the Palestinians a state. If he would agree on that, that practically means the fall of his government.
Yeah, so how does Israel respond to these criticisms?
At the moment, it is early because the call was last night, but I think he backed it up a little bit by saying that Israel want to control the territories western the river, means that he wants also to control not Gaza but the West Bank as well, which is a repeat of what he said before, that he wants to remove the Palestinian Authority from its place. So he is trying to make everyone happy, if I may say that. So he's talking to President Biden and say, okay, I do not oppose a Palestinian state, but at the same time he's keen to make his government intact by saying we will keep to control Gaza and the West Bank, which is contradicting what he says to Mr. Biden.
And what's the situation with regards to aid?
The situation regarding to aid is very dire. We saw pictures of Palestinians that are really in bad need of water, in bad need of food. We saw families are having one plate of food over 24 hours. The authorities in Gaza saying that there are 50,000 tons of garbage everywhere in Gaza, and they are warning of spreading diseases because of that. The situation in Gaza is very bad, and as I said, there was a press conference for Médecins Sans Frontières in Cairo. They are saying that the situation in Gaza, there is no other situation that's similar to this situation. That's why Israel tried to say that they will allow some of the flour to come through Usdud port directly to Gaza. But unless we see this flour coming to Gaza, the civilians in Gaza would be suffering from a very dire situation.
And what about the hostages? More than 130 still being held since the Hamas attacks on Israel on October the 7th. There was suggestions that some medical aid would be getting through to them in the past few days. Has there been any developments with those?
Not yet. This agreement was announced initially by Qatar, but there are no details has been announced afterwards. Hamas' stance was really clear, that they are saying there will not be any negotiations regarding the hostages unless the ceasefire would be announced, and Israel is not willing to do that. There is a growing pressure on Israel to reach a ceasefire, as many politicians think that the only way for these hostages to come to go back to Israel is by deal with Hamas.
Is there any international pressure on Hamas, you know, designated terrorist organization by the US, the UK, many countries? Because Israel says, you know, if you release those hostages, then there could be a pause in the fighting.
Of course, but Hamas, because of the scale of the Israeli strike that is targeting sometimes civilians, they say that they do not want to have any negotiations unless a ceasefire would be announced. But many in the Israeli society now are thinking that, you know, a deal with Hamas is really needed for these hostages to come, and they are arguing that the military operation did not succeed to find these hostages or to reach anywhere of them.
Okay, Mohamed, thank you. Now let's get